Welcome to the Popcorn Wine Down with Tammy and Eddie. Grab your popcorn, pour yourself a glass of wine, and come hang out with us as we discuss the latest in movies, TV, and music.
Hello, and welcome to this special episode of the Popcorn Wine Down. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
And welcome to this special episode all about K-pop. So, Tammy, why are we doing this episode?
Why is that question for me? Like, hold up. Like, why you put me on the spot like that?
You're the K-pop aficionado.
I am not. We are both fully into K-pop, just different areas of K-pop, but we both have certain areas that we love. No, I just thought we've done a lot of BTS episodes. What is it? 4 or 5. But we haven't actually talked about the fact that BTS isn't the be all and end all of our love for K-pop. They introduced us to it, or they introduced me to it. Let me not speak for you. But they are not the be all and end all of my me becoming a fan of Korean pop culture, and everything that goes along with it.
So you're saying there's more to your love of Korean culture or Korean pop culture than just K-pop? Than just BTS.
Oh, there's way more to my love of K-pop and Korean culture than just BTS.
Is it fair to say that they were the springboard into this new genre of culture, I guess?
Yes, but isn't that their job? I think BTS did what they're supposed to do, what they've been entrusted to do since they became as popular as they are, and they introduce people to other groups and to Korean culture, and that's where they get some of their accomplishments that they've gotten. So I'm definitely one of those people that have fallen into this because of BTS.
Okay, so they're great ambassadors or stewards of the Korean culture. I can agree with that.
That's why they got a whole bunch of awards for it.
Yeah. So what, in general, I think a lot of people might be confused about K-pop. How would you explain it? Is it just the music, or is it more to it?
To be honest, gosh, it's a lifestyle. Is that a correct term to use, I guess, for this? I think it's a lifestyle. I don't know, but I think it's a lifestyle because it is. It's a huge part of the Korean culture and their success as a country, I guess, because everybody plays a role. And so K-pop as a lifestyle is, they play a role in just advancing South Korean culture. Like, that is their job as idols, as K-pop idols. And from there, you go into KDramas that are now becoming a thing because they're all over my Netflix nowadays. But yeah, and it just kind of goes from there. But I do know, it started with K-pop because there's so many requirements for idols in order to debut as an artist. So yeah, they bring a lot to the table, way more than I realize American artists bring to the table sometimes.
But it's not. Okay, well, that's twofold. So what are some of the requirements for K-pop artists? I'm asking,
No. I'm like, okay, wait. So you're asking me, and I'm realizing I am the more knowledgeable one.
Exactly. You are the aficionado. I go for the music. This is the area where you nerded out. I'm just okay. So
Okay,
Like,
I'm sorry. Okay, no. So, just real quick. First thing is that it's not always that they actually have a talent. So when idols first come into the business, they're training for years. Some of them can train up to 10 years because they start really young. Like, in America, like, you have to already come to the table already talented. You got to bring that to the table. But in South Korea, I think because their beauty standards are a certain way, and it's a lot of times it's about the visual, right? About you also looking really good and being cute or gorgeous by other people's standards, that they can spend up to 10 years. They can be scouted just for looking good and not know how to sing, rap, dance, or anything. But because they have a cute face, they're going to invite them to join a company. They're training for years. You don't know which group you're going to be in. You don't know who your members are going to be. So it's not like they grow up together, but they don't grow up together as a group. They grow up together separately, and, then they're put together randomly. And then they have to do more than one thing. So idols have to know how to dance. They have to know how to sing. They have to be good looking. They have to also, a lot of them need to know how to act as well. They need to be able to be a television host because they do a lot of variety shows, and they need to have that type of personality or be able to fake it enough to be on these variety shows. Like, it is a lot. That's what the years take. Like, they have to be trained in all of this before they actually are chosen. And sometimes they're not even chosen. Can you imagine spending 10 years trying to get into a group and then you never get chosen to be in a group? Like, that's 10 years of your life gone that you can't get back. And now you got to figure out another career because you're never going to be in a group. Like, that's sad. That's really sad. But yeah, and they're not asked to do certain things. Like, they don't have a say in their music. When they start out, they have to actually become successful in their career before they're allowed to start writing their own music. And then another thing that I do actually like is that once you're part of a label and you debut, like, it's a family thing, right? So, like, they have this family aspect. So once you're part of a label, first of all, your contracts are really long. So usually it's about 7 years, but it's very rare that an idol will leave their label and go to another label because you're seen as being very disloyal. So other people may not necessarily want you, especially the big one. I want to say 4 now. The big 4 are definitely not going to take you if you leave one of the other ones. So
no matter how bad they treat you at JYP.
Yeah. Yeah, no matter how bad they treat you at JYP, they're not going to take you if you're going to a top label. Now, if you go to one of the smaller ones, you definitely have a shot. But trying to leave JYP and going to SM, that's not happening. Like, SM is not taking you because that they all have, like, it's an unwritten rule kind of thing. Like, I don't poach your idols, you don't poach my idols, and that's how we're going to work. The little ones, they got to poach whoever they could, but the big ones, I got enough problems. I don't need yours. But yeah, so it's just, it's a lifestyle. It's not, you dream of it all your life, but you start out when you're a teenager and, you work hard. They work really hard to become an idol. Not to say American artists don't, but it's a very different standards for an American artist compared to a K-pop artist.
Yeah, because it's not what you said before. It's a little different because American artists aren't expected to be ambassadors of American culture or America. Like that.
They're not. But isn't that part of the fact that we're already spread around the world anyway because of how popular and how out there American culture already is? That is the reason why our artists don't have to promote our culture at all because our culture is already promoted on its own.
And I mean, I don't think many other artists, I think some artists from foreign countries or different countries, they do that just out of national pride. But a lot of artists from different countries don't even carry that mantle of having that type of ambassadorship. Not ones from the UK, not even some of our Latin artists. They do it because they like to. They're proud of their country. They want to have that pride for their country. But it's not like that is an unwritten thing that they must do is carry that
but they still put it out there. So I feel like when it comes to American artists, you don't put it out there as much as American artists compared to others. Like if you're from a Hispanic country, you know, you want people to know which country you're from, right? Or
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's more of a choice. They do it because they want to. Like, you know, Jennifer Lopez, even though she's American, she is Puerto Rican. She's proud of her Puerto Rican roots and heritage. So when she wears the Puerto Rican flag or she throws it up in the concert, she's doing it because she wants to, because she's taking pride in her Puerto Rican heritage. It's not something that she has to do.
But okay, wait, don't get me wrong. They don't necessarily have to. Like, it's not something they have to do, but you know, they're raised with so much pride in that everything that we do is for advancement of South Korea, right? It's the advancement of South Korean culture, because what is one of the biggest ways that they make their money? Off of tourism, or tech, right? So everything needs to be an advancement of making sure that they're making money. I feel that sometimes for America, like, our promotion isn't necessarily needed because our reputation is already at that top level. But for South Korea, the minute that they stop promoting their country and their culture, you know, that hurts their economy a lot more than it would hurt our economy if we don't really do it anyway, but if we were to do the same. Like, we're not going out trying to push our cars that we make in America because nobody wants them, but you know, like, but in South
Actually,
Korea,
they do. Fords are quite popular in. I said, actually, they do. Fords are quite popular in the Middle East.
How much are they?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't gone that
They're
far
cheap.
into the rabbit hole because that's not the car.
I get it.
But
I get it. But honestly, that's one. Like, when I just feel like it's a different promotion. Our artists do not promote us because it's not a require. Like, they don't need to. I think that America doesn't necessarily need that promotion because we are top tier. Like, let's be honest, we are. So, and it's not me pushing that out there, but anyway, let me get off of that.
No,
I'm
I
not
mean,
to get fully into that whole history thing.
I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that, you know, it's a little different, but yeah. So, and I think also one of the big things that helped spread other parts of the Korean culture this year, especially the dramas and the movies, was how incredibly well Parasite did this year at the Oscars and sweeping the award seasons, and it was a phenomenal movie. And also looking out for another one on the rise, Minari, which is courting its own controversy right now, but not so. I think it's just a Korean cultural explosion all at the same time. On top of that, and I'm here for it. I enjoy being introduced to different cultures outside of just our American culture. We tend to be a little American centric sometimes, so I like seeing how other people live and comparing and contrasting some of the different parts of our culture. And the music, I have to admit that I was one of those. I've always known what K-pop was, and I have to say that I did not have really an open mind towards it. I think I talked about this once before. One of my best friends went to live, was talking about we're considering living in Korea, and one of my first thoughts is, how are you going, because you know music is such a big part of my life. I'm like, how are you going to listen to that music every day? Like, what is it, you know? And at the time I knew BTS. I'd heard of BTS, but I wasn't like a fan of BTS. I hadn't given them a try yet, so I was just like, okay. And then once I gave BTS a try, I was like, I think it might be possible. And then from there, like I said, BTS was like the gateway drug, I guess, to Korean culture and K-pop music. But yeah, and now it wouldn't bother me at all. I actually like it. But so, who are some of your other favorite groups?
Well, okay, so we're talking about groups. Of course, you know, we got GOT7. I love them because they're original. Like, they're not like other groups that I've heard. Like, I love their personality. I think they have a very natural bond amongst them. where I feel like they're not always on. Like you have it where there are certain groups where you can tell like sometimes they're really on. Like and everybody should know what I mean by like on. Like they're playing an act or a role and they're doing very well at it, but you can tell like it's definitely them playing a role. I think with GOT7, they start out on and then they kind of go off the rails and the chaos comes in, and I love that about them. Like I just love how more natural they are. I love TXT, Monster X, and 17. Those are my groups. Like I love them. I can listen to them over and over again. And then of course our new love and Hyphen with their 4-song CD. So hopefully they come out with more. But
okay. See, I'm gonna have to interrupt you right there. You know how I feel about Hyphen. Slander
with their it's slander to say they only got 4 songs on their CD because they do.
Well, the way you said it is, we have to remember in Hyphen they're pandemic babies, okay? Like they came across.
Oh well, no, a 4-song CD is a regular thing for a debut. Like it's nothing.
Yeah, but you know, as I say, and plus, you know, we have to remember in Hyphen was basically formed within the last 4 or 5 months. So I'm not there for that in Hyphen slander.
First of all, Hyphen has come out with a regular number of songs CD. Most debuts are 4 songs, but it's hilarious on the fact that they do a debut and they only come out with like 4 or 5 songs for those CDs, and that's all groups. Like I'm just like, okay, yay, great, you performed 4 songs, like that's awesome. When you will come out with an actual CD though? Like it's like they're gonna come out with like at least 2 more mini albums before they actually fully come out with a CD, you know?
It's like a sample platter. Like here we are. Here we are. Here's the sample of what you're gonna get. This is us. So it's kind of like that appetizer.
Yeah. But and then like from K-pop, I like moved into like their more chill music, their solo artists, which I love. Like majority of my playlist that I made on Spotify is all of like solo artists. Like, you know, I do have some of my groups that I love on there, but most of them are just solo artists. Everybody knows my favorite artist is Zico. So Zico definitely plays a role. But Jay Park, Justin Park, Junie, Loco, like it's so many. Crush. We like had a whole like part where like we talked about Crush and the CD that he did before he enlisted in the military. Hoodie, I love Hoodie. I love her voice. But yeah, so it kind of like opened the door to like Korean hip hop, Korean R&B, which is amazing. Like there's so many talented people, and I guess they don't get as much attention because they're not necessarily idols. But they definitely deserve way more attention than idols because they can really sing.
I feel like I should defend idols, but I'm not.
Like idol life, like actual idol.
No,
like K-pop idol.
No, like you just said, because they can really sing, insinuating that some idols cannot.
No, because we can have this conversation about the fact of majority of them were not chosen because they sing. Like they have to hone their craft, and I give them credit for the fact that a lot of them who started out not knowing how to sing can now carry a tune because they worked at it and they worked really hard. And I love that. That's one thing I love about K-pop is they work hard for the talents and skills that they gain, but they're really, a lot of them are chosen because they look good or they look sexy and they're gonna sell because beauty is such a big thing. But like a perfect example is Jin, who was literally picked off of the street because he looked cute, because he was really good looking, and they were like, hey, can you sing? He was like, no. Can you dance? No. So you just look really good? All right, let's come on over here and start training you to be an idol part of BTS because you look good. And then he gained it because I love his voice. But that is not how he started out. He had to work hard for that.
And I think that should occur. I think that gives him even more props in the
Yeah.
book is that he wasn't just a natural singer. So I can't knock the work ethic or the fact that a lot of them come into it not necessarily already knowing how to sing and dance. Not all of them are little goat baby machinates out there like Nicki and Jungkook and, the total package or whatever. But yeah, I would have to say that I was the reverse effect. I I I I saw from BTS. I did not go straight into other groups. A lot of the groups that I tried, I did, and a lot of them I thought were carbon copies or wannabe knockoffs of BTS. And so every group that I saw for a while, I just kept seeing fake BTSs. So I'm like, this isn't working for me. So I immediately dove into the individual artists. I went immediately into the underground R&B, K-R&B and hip hop scene, and that's pretty much where I've lived. And I have discovered some different idol groups that I like just by chance, just by looking at different things. Most of them, I would say, are in the Big Hit family, which is, I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but and even for a while I was a little lukewarm on them because it turned me off of TXT when people would call them baby BTS or BTS Junior, and I think that does them a great disservice. And I really, really, really found a great appreciation for them when their last CD, Blue Hour, came out, and so then I went back and I listened to all of their stuff, and I like everything except for one CD. Their debut still has not really grown on me, but I love everything else about them. And of course, I love GOT7, and I would have to say GOT7 is the first group that I saw for who they were. Like, from the moment I saw them, and I think we kind of discovered them at the same time. We were watching something, and we're like, "Who's this group?" And I remember the first thing I said to you is, "They don't remind me of BTS. Like, when I see them, I see GOT7. I'm not looking at comparisons for BTS." And I love them, and their latest CD is amazing.
Really good.
Of course,
it's so them.
It is, and I like 17. I do love 17. I call them the Village People because there's so many of them. I know very few members. I think I only know Woozy, and that's because you pointed out Woozy to me.
He's so
and you
short.
told me how. Yeah, and you told me how to recognize Woozy, but everyone else in 17, I'm just like, yeah, they're good. They're the Village People. I don't care.
I'll be honest, I only recognize Woozy because of his height, and then I know I can point out the leader of the group. Because he has a distinct face. Like, his face is like nobody else in the group. So when you see him, you know who he is. But those are only two members I can fully point out when I see them. So yeah.
I do like Monster X. I happen to like them a lot. I don't know them. I don't know the members of Monster X, but I know I like Monster X. I couldn't tell you who was who in the group. Another group that I like that I know you're not too crazy about, I love NCT. They have grown on me. And if 17 is the Village People, NCT is just like a whole fucking tribe. Like, they're a country. Because it's like 500,000 members, literally, of NCT. And they have like 1 million subgroups. So, but I do know Lucas. I know 10. And I'm starting to know, I found another one I like, Jungwoo. So, but I can recognize Lucas pretty much off the bat because he's my favorite. And then 10 and Jungwoo. So I do like NCT as well. And I'm still trying to find a girl group besides Blackpink. We talked about before, I'm not really a Blink. I can listen to Blackpink. I can appreciate who they are and what they do, but I'm not just like gung-ho. So I'm still waiting for that one girl group to just wow me. I do.
But yeah.
Oh, Red Velvet.
I like Red Velvet. Like, I started to listen to, when they debut like their CDs, and I do like their music because I can actually fully listen to their CDs. Now, there's other groups where I know of them, but I can't listen to their music. Like Twice, I've tried so many times to listen to Twice, and I just can't. Like I'm sorry to their fans, but I just cannot get into their music. But Red Velvet, I actually like Red Velvet. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, and of course, like I said, the R&B and hip hop scene, like, yeah, you mentioned some Zico, J Park, Loco, Crush, Dean. I love Hayes. I think that's how you say her name,
Yeah, I
Hayes
like
or
Hayes
High.
too.
Lehigh is amazing. I can just live there. I don't, and then I'm also into to the indie scene, and I don't know where these artists would classify, but I like Keshi and Sam Kim, and I want to say Nive. That's how I pronounce his name, but so it's just like so many artists, especially solo artists that I'm just falling more and more in love with. But Dean is one of my favorites, and it's so frustrating because he doesn't release a lot of music, and I think he just went into the military too. So, but yeah, and of course, that I guess that would lead us to the next big part of Korean culture, which is also exploding, and that would be the KDramas, like the television and film scene, which I know you are a huge fan of.
Okay, so can I just say right
Huge
now,
fan.
if you have not started already, I suggest a new drama called Run On that is so good. Like I really, really enjoy it. It's only on its 4th episode. It's a weekly drama on Netflix, so it's gonna come out weekly. So we gotta wait every week, which I hate. I hate that, but it's really, really good. Sorry, I just had to plug that in real quick.
Yeah, just tell me when it ends, and I'll watch it from there. I have enough weekly crap for not crap, excuse me. I have enough weekly stuff I have to try to keep up with. So, if it's on Netflix or Hulu, I'm like, look, this is not the deal that we made with you. Okay, don't come trying to like make me watch stuff weekly. This is not
I
our
realize
deal.
it's because they want to build up the momentum, but the because Netflix did a big deal with I forgot which Korean channel, but they did a big deal with a Korean channel and an Asian channel, right? Because they do Chinese.
Was it KBS or SBS?
I don't know, because they're doing Chinese dramas as well. I think they're going to get into Taiwanese dramas also. But they have a lot of K-dramas on Netflix now. And so with that, these shows, they release 2 episodes every week, right? So they pick 2 days. So like Run On releases their episodes on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So every Wednesday and Thursday, there's a new episode that comes out. But you have ones that do it every Saturday and Sunday, or every Tuesday and Friday. So at least it's 2 episodes every week that you do. But at the same time, like you can't binge it on Netflix because the channels that they got the rights from wouldn't allow them to do that. They're releasing it every week, so Netflix is only allowed to release it every single week. That's like, I believe that's part of the deal, but it's still great because it's kind of like prime time, right? How we anticipate the next episode when we watch a really good episode of our shows. I am literally like sitting here like, yo, when can Wednesday come so I can see that new episode? I'm so mad.
Here's the thing. I found myself doing the same thing with prime time. I found myself hoarding TV shows.
On your DVR, right?
On my DVR, yeah. So it's just like, I don't know. Streaming has spoiled me to where it's really hard pressed for me to just kind of, and I guess because I multitask and do so many other things that, okay, during this 8 o'clock hour or whatever, especially on the DVR, I can watch the news, or I can just do something else rather than just sit there and watch live TV. And God forbid, I hate commercials, so I just kind of like fast forward.
Can somebody tell me who loves commercials? Like, if you love commercials, please let me know, because I want to know why.
Like, aside from the Super Bowl, when does anyone ever watch
exactly?
commercials?
And and that's the thing, is that's why I'm kind of mad, because I said to myself that I was not going to start Run On. I was going to wait a couple weeks, and then I finished my last drama and I was bored. And so I was just like, okay, let me watch one episode because I didn't really think I'd like it. And then I watched the first episode and I was just like, okay, let me just watch the second episode to see if this is actually going to be good. Second episode, I was hooked. like I'm good to go. And that's what happens. So like I get hooked on these and then now I'm just anticipating. I can't wait anymore. Until all the episodes are done. Like that is annoying to me now. But I feel you on that because primetime, I don't know the last time I watched a primetime show.
Yeah, I just wait until they're all done, and I'll go back and I'll watch them that way. But I can't do the weekly on the stream. That just that breaks our deal. Like we did not agree to that.
No, definitely. But
that was not part of the contract.
It's very interesting to see how you got to get used to the subtitles, of course, unless you want to dub it, which I don't suggest that you dub it. Like it just takes away the genuineness of the shows. But everything like plays a role in like Korean culture, right? So I love seeing these shows. Majority of them are based out of Seoul, where they don't really showcase any of their other cities or towns that are in South Korea as much. Oh, and then here's another thing with K-dramas, and I'm sure you noticed it when you were watching Itaewon Class. They're really big on advertisements of Korean companies, right? So in our shows, like people have different phones. Like some people have an Android, some people have an iPhone, right? We don't do advertisements in our shows necessarily. But in Korea, in K-dramas, what I noticed is everything's an advertisement. So if the newest Samsung phone comes up, Samsung is a Korean company that these dramas will have the newest Samsung phones so that they can advertise what the phones can do. And they show it to you throughout a scene, what these phones can do and how, you have ones that you can open up into a bigger screen and then you can close it so it can be the size of our regular like iPhones. And then they'll drive, a lot of times they'll drive, what is it? Is it Hyundai? Is that how you say it? And they'll drive Hyundais, right? So like the real rich ones, they drive Hyundais because that's a big deal. So, and that's a Korean company as well. So they do a lot of advertisement. There is a company called Coffee Bay, and they sponsor a lot of these dramas. So whenever they're going out to drink coffee, because they drink a lot of coffee, they're at a Coffee Bay. Coffee shop, right? Or Subway is a thing, but they don't really show Subway. But Subway is a thing as well. So I guess the big deals, like I guess even maybe American companies have gotten into advertising on K-dramas. They do a lot of advertisements of their products on these shows. And it looks natural, but I can tell just because we don't do it here, that I can tell when they're advertising blatantly in a drama.
Well, I think that's cool, and I noticed that that in Itaewon Class, but like you said, it's not blatant, but you just kind of know, But I also know that no matter how cool Samsung looks, it's not going to take me away from my Apple.
Well, to be honest, they don't take no idols away from their apples either. You know how BTS got caught every time? Like it's become a running joke with BTS and Samsung that they continuously make the mistakes of posting things with their iPhones and then having to delete it and then post it with their Android, with their Samsung. And Samsung, yeah, we caught that. Like they'll blatantly call them out on Twitter. And they say that happens to a lot of idols who have like a Samsung account where they have an iPhone as well and they get caught using it all the time. So they love Apple. They just gotta, advertise Samsung.
Well, I'm gonna go back again before the new year and just say that hopefully your love of Korean culture and Korean dramas will watch Parasite.
It won't.
Yes. This is my weekly plug for you to watch Parasite.
But we really had this conversation. The reason why I'll never watch Parasite, but
yeah. But I do like some Korean dramas. Like I said before, I don't like the Lifetime Hallmark ones, but I do love the more action-packed thriller ones. And the subtitles, they're easy. once you get used to them, they're easy. Like after you watch Parasite or a movie, I was reading something the other day. Someone said on Twitter that, you know, once you're done with, once you get used to it, it's just like you can't imagine the movie. Like before, I would have gone for the dub, and now the dub drives me crazy, especially when the mouths don't match up to the words. And it's just like you have someone speaking perfect English, and I'm like, but are you fluent in English? Like no trace of an accent at all. And I'm like, okay, are you Korean American? Like,
no,
you know, or they're like, I grew up in London, and I'm like, okay, but you don't have a British accent.
No.
So the horrible dubbing is worse to me than
okay. So you remember when we was doing the Alive, right? And I said like mine was dubbed, and I didn't know how to change it. And you were just like, oh, you got to go to the settings. Well, I didn't realize that it was not a dubbed movie until after I watched it and we were reviewing it. But I started the new like this is a big hit called Sweet Home. And when I first played it, it was dubbed, and I was like, oh no, this is not what we gonna do. And so I went and I changed my settings. I had to figure it out on how to change my settings so I can go back to the subtitles. And here's what I realized. I was watching an American show this weekend, and do you know what I did? I put the subtitles on. I put the subtitles on just in case I miss anything. And I don't do that. Like I normally wouldn't do that, but because I'm so used to, because I've watched so many with subtitles, that even though I can watch it and I'm just listening to them, you know, say, I still have the subtitles at the bottom. Like it just feels natural to have subtitles at the bottom of my screen now, just because I've watched so many shows with it. So it just made me laugh when I did that.
I wouldn't go that far. I haven't fallen that far down the rabbit hole. If it's a foreign, if it's a foreign show, I watch other shows besides Korean shows. So if it's a foreign show, I'm okay with the subtitles. I think I prefer that to the dub for foreign films and foreign TV shows. But for the American shows, nah, because that's the thing with me, and I think the reason why I don't watch a lot of K-dramas as much as I should or as much as I would want to is, you know, I'm always doing 50 million different things at once. And so when I'm watching a K-drama, it requires my full attention because I have to read what's going on. And so here with an American show, I can just turn it on and I can listen, I can look up at the screen, and I can still not feel like I've missed anything. But if I put my head down for a minute or two,
you missed
focusing on something else on the K-drama,
or a couple scenes,
I've missed like the important stuff of what they said or something like that. So I don't do that, but that's part of the reason why I don't watch as many K-dramas as I would want to. I'm going to add that to my 2021 list of things to do more of, and that's just because, you know, to take a break from my 50 million different things at once mindset. But yeah, well, we talked about it before. Some of the favorites besides Itaewon Class, Alive was an amazing movie. I loved it. The zombie movie, and I'm not really a fan of scary zombie movies like that, but I did like Alive. And I saw that there was another one out, but I didn't catch the name of it, and I was like, oh, it kind of looked like Alive. It kind of had that gory effect.
That's probably Sweet Home. But it's a TV show, and it's all out at once, though. Like, so that's an actual Netflix drama.
Wait, is that the one where the kids, like all these different people, are trapped in an apartment building?
Yes, that's Sweet Home.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, it's called Sweet Home. I started it. I didn't fully get into it yet because I wanted to finish my other shows. But yeah, Sweet Home, and it's all the episodes. All the episodes are there. Sorry.
Okay, so I'll have to check that out. But yeah, so you know, I think, you know, the whole purpose of this is just to kind of show that K-pop is more than just BTS,
Korean culture is more than just BTS.
It's more than just BTS.
There's so much more.
You know, it is, and it kind of like when my friend first told me she wanted to move to Korea, I really did have that mindset of not that I'm against traveling, or I was like, okay, I was like, oh, it'd be a cool place to visit. I was never that person who's like, why? But now I understand why. Like, to me, I guess I've always kind of thought if I would live somewhere else, it would be somewhere that was more, I don't know. I'm not going to say Eurocentric.
I would have to be somewhere they
I
speak English. I'm gonna just put that out there. I no, because I've actually thought about, and I researched a couple years ago when I was in like my mid-20s on moving to another country, and because I've always wanted to live in another country, but what I realized is language is not my thing. So it really is not. So because language is not my thing, even if I was to move to a country that did not speak where English was not a primary language, I would not survive in a country where English was not a primary language, because it is so hard for me to learn another language. Even when I immerse myself in that language, it does not work for me at all. And I'm honest about my flaws, and that is one of my flaws. I am not language efficient. I could barely speak the language that I know sometimes. But yeah, but I think living in South Korea would be lovely, but out of Seoul. I wouldn't move to Seoul though. That's not my cup of tea. That's like moving to New York City, right? And I've never ever wanted to live in the city. I've always wanted to live in the suburbs and visit the city every once in a while. So I think I would want to live there, but I'm honest enough to say I ain't learning the language. So yeah, I'm gonna go move to Australia.
On the other hand, I would love to go to a place where I'd have to learn my language, the different language. I think my problem would be, I want to try the food, but I'm open to it. It's just the spice factor. And I'm not saying everything there is spicy, but I know a lot of their food is really spicy. And that would probably be the thing that got me, was the food. But I would have to trying it out.
So I learned that a lot of their food is spicy, right? But because people, there are people who are not, like, there's a lot of people who are acknowledging the fact that they can't eat spicy food, or it's not for them, that they're now giving the option of medium.
Would surprise you. For a spice novice like me, that would probably
like they say it's mild, right? So there's still going to be spices in their food, of course, because that's part of their culture, but it's mild enough that it can be handled by people who can't do spices. I'm just saying, compared to like, so you have to ask for what type of flavor and spice level do you want, and that's what you can get. I would love to try their food though. I'm with you on. I've been trying it for a while now, but I think it looks good. The only thing I can't get into the cabbage. Realize that's not my thing.
I love cabbage, and I'd have to see what all Korean cabbage entails, but I love cabbage. Like I could probably do the veggies and stuff like that, because I love veggies and all. But and I love the ramen. I of course I eat the ramen. But yeah, I would love to try the food.
We can go visit there. I'm just not living there, but I'll go visit.
And see, I think, I don't know, I would go visit, and then I could honestly say that it might be someplace I would want to live for a little while. And I have no problem with Seoul being like New York. I'm the opposite. I do like the suburbs, but I like them outside the city, but if I were just going to go to actually just kind of like do a walkabout or whatever, spend 6 months to a year there, I would probably want to be in Seoul. Now, I wouldn't want to be in Itaewon, because that would be like way too much, like on 24/7. But I would want to be in a city, in Seoul, or in a major city. So
you be in Seoul, and I'm gonna go to
Busan. Right. Okay. And then, so I got the north coast,
yes,
the south, and then we just kind of meet in the middle.
Yeah, we're gonna flip it compared to like where we grew up. So I'm gonna go south. You stay north.
Okay, and then I guess who's gonna get the country? Who's gonna get, what is it? Daja?
Daegu, right?
But
Daegu.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I ain't for the
Diverse.
country. Nah, my neighbors need to be right there.
Well, I can have my ranch in the country because that is a dream. Is to have a ranch.
See, there you go.
So All right. Well, that does it for this episode. Thank you for joining us for this special episode of All About K-pop. And stay tuned for season 2. New episodes for season 2 will be coming soon in the new year. And until next time.
And I'm Tammy. Hope you enjoyed this week's popcorn review. Don't forget to visit us at thepopcornwinedown.com for your daily dose of pop culture.